everybody. All right, so we have our ground beef mixture right here. Here's the bay leaf. I'm going to take that out. This is the ground beef with the seasonings, our rice, the tomato paste, and we're going to remove that. But you can you smell? Can you smell that? All right, that's the za'atar seasoning is in that. And what we are going to do is we're going to stuff our tomato and pepper with it. Now, this is the same base as for our dolmas, this recipe, this mixture, this meat mixture. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some of this for that, and then I will show you how to wrap the dolmas later. For now, though, we need to prepare our tomatoes and our pepper. So we're going to roast them stuffed. We are going to wash these off, of course. You want to remove any stickers that might be on them. So these are rinsed off. And what we're going to do is we're going to carve out the center. Or we can make a hat. How about we make a hat? So we're just going to make a hat that goes on the top, okay? So I'm just removing that. And then this will be the hat. It'll go right on top. And that way we don't waste anything. I hate wasting stuff. So we're gonna remove the core of this and the seeds. Just cut that out. Pull out any of these seeds. And what we will do is we'll stuff this with the meat mixture and then bake it. Now, just like when I was Puerto Rican and Negi's mammy and abuela would grab stuff out of the refrigerator and use it up, I also want to use stuff up. So we have these chickpeas left over from the hummus, okay? I'm going to put a couple of chickpeas in this as well. Then, when I went to get the black beans out to make the black bean dish, I noticed I also had some raisins. So we are now going to add some raisins to it. Now these raisins are pretty dried out. They've been here for months and they need to be rehydrated. So what did I do? I put them in a measuring cup. I've covered them with water. I'm gonna microwave it now for 2 minutes, then strain it. That will rehydrate the raisins and I will be able to add them to our meat mixture, which is gonna go inside of our pepper. So that one is ready. I'm gonna put that aside. Next, I'm gonna do the tomato. So the tomato, I'm gonna slice off the top. We'll make a hat as well. We're gonna put that back on after we stuff it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull out the insides of that. And then, again, we are not gonna waste the insides. We're gonna add that to our meat mixture and stuff it into our tomato and pepper. So we're gonna remove the inside, and we don't wanna lose any of the juices, the seeds. That's gonna become part of the stuffing. We don't wanna cut the outside of the tomato because then your stuffing's gonna fall out of it while it's cooking. So, can you come on this side, please? Thank you. So I'm just sort of like cutting. I cut around the outside, and now I'm cutting into the inside, so that way I can remove it. Okay, so I cut around the outside. Do this gently. You don't want to remove, you don't want to cut, otherwise you have to get another tomato. All right, so I'm cutting this gently, taking out all the seeds. This also helps because this, I'm gonna get a tomato, I don't want to risk it. This helps moisten up the filling. So if you see when I cooked it, it got dried out a bit, so we're gonna re-moisten that with this. So now this is better. Using this spoon to help scoop out the insides. All right, so that's the first one. That one's ready. Our raisins are ready, so just give me a second. I'll take those out and strain them. I'm going to use a strainer to strain those. So again, I'm cutting out the tomato. Don't cut through the tomato. You just want to cut this to loosen it up. And I'm going to use a spoon to get everything out. And we're not going to waste this at all. This is sort of home-style Cypriot cuisine, type of thing that is made at home on Cyprus to eat, because they have tons of peppers and tons of tomatoes. Here's our strainer. I'm gonna get the raisins out. The raisins are gonna add a little sweetness to it, which will be a nice contrast, especially with all those seasons that we've got in there. So I'm gonna add that. Okay, we're gonna add some of the chickpeas. A lot of times, pastry is not the same as cooking. I'm sure you all know, I've told you many times, pastry, everything has to be exact, you have to measure everything. Cooking is usually a little more risk-taking and forgiving. So you can throw your ingredients together and come up with something new. Each time you make it, you can change things around and it'll still work out. So this is our meat mixture with the chickpeas, the tomatoes. If they're big pieces, just cut them up, make them a little smaller. We don't want these giant hunks of tomato. Okay. And we're gonna stir this all together. We've got the chickpeas, the raisins, tomato, and our beef mixture, which has rice in it. And I need enough to fill those 3. What do you think? Is that enough to fill the 3? I think so. Mm-hmm. Let's do 1 and see. Well, I think we need a little bit more. That pepper's pretty big. All right, so this would be one way to use up the fresh produce of your garden. And now we're stuffing the pepper full of this meat mixture. Now we're going to stuff the tomatoes. A bit in there. And what we can do is then put the hat back on top. And we will cook it in the oven with that on. Before I put it in the oven, I'm gonna drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil. All right, this is great. I've had plenty of filling to fill this up. I can stuff this a little bit more. And now I'm not gonna let this go to waste. I'm gonna put it, I'll use this as one of the fillings for one of the dolmas also. All right, never let anything go to waste. All right, so that's completely stuffed. Put the hat on. These will go in the oven with some olive oil. Bake them and they'll come out looking great. So I'll come back and show you what it looks like when that's done. All right, thank you. I have the Gemista right here, which are the stuffed peppers and tomatoes. So those are already been stuffed with the meat filling with rice. And then I also added some chickpeas and some raisins. So this is going to be really interesting. Now I have the oven set at 350 degrees. It's been preheating. So now I'm going to put this in the oven. Now before I do that, I want to drizzle some olive oil over the top. And then I'm going to roast them at 350 until they're soft. So these will taste absolutely delicious. And I can't wait to see what they look like. So I'm gonna get them in the oven. There we go, in the middle of the middle tray in the oven. Okay, and I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to take, but I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes, see how they look. And then see how much longer it'll take. So probably, maybe it'll take 20 minutes total. So I'll set the timer for 10 minutes, check it then, and see what it looks like. The timer's gone off. I've had them in for about 20 minutes. I kept checking them every 5 minutes, and look at them. They look great now. They're nice and soft. The oil is bubbling. Looks like it's perfect. So I'm gonna let that cool, and then I'm gonna certainly enjoy this with Miss Melissa, my camera person, all the time comes in and helps me, and we are going to have a very nice lunch. So there is our Gemista. This is the Cyprus dish, the stuffed peppers, stuffed tomatoes with our spiced ground beef, and that looks absolutely fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed this, and maybe you want to try that at home too. So thank you for joining us in the kitchen. Take care. Bye.